In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating some very simple exercises that you can do at home to be able to create more stability in the pelvis and in the hips, as well as the lumbar spine. The adjustments that we do here in the office, as well as doing stretching and things of that sort, are geared towards creating more mobility and to loosen things up, create better range of motion. And all of those things are incredibly important, obviously, for spinal correction, as well as just mobility and day-to-day movements. But we also want to make sure that the muscles that surround the structure also are strong and that those things can create stability. So on occasion, what can happen is we can loosen everything up, but there's not as much stability as what we would like to be present within those given structures, the lumbar spine, the pelvis, and the hips. And that can potentially cause some discomforts to arise as well. So occasionally patients will need some additional exercises to be able to create that stability. So I'm going to be demonstrating several exercises, and these exercises are really good for anybody, even if they didn't have pains, discomforts, or problems. These would probably be good exercises for them to do. There's really, I would say, no major contraindications if you do feel pain or discomfort while doing any of these exercises. Maybe modify it or don't do that particular exercise. So there's a couple of pieces of equipment that I'm going to be showing you. One of them is using an exercise band. So I just have a simple exercise band and I have it tied here at the bottom just to form a loop, and I'll demonstrate why I'm using this. If you are a patient in the office, you don't have any band like this, you can go anywhere and get it for pretty inexpensive, but I have a big roll of this band material, so just ask me and we can give you a piece. And then I'm also going to be using a foam roller, and I'm really just going to, I'll explain whenever I use it, what you can do if you don't have a foam roller. So first exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is lying on my back and doing what I like to call flat back exercise. So you can do this on the floor, you can do this on the bed, it doesn't really matter. You're just going to lie on your back with your feet on the floor or on the surface that you're lying on. And whenever you do this, you should have a little bit of an arc in your spine naturally. What you're going to do is you're going to contract your abs and tighten and flatten your back to the floor or to the surface that you're on. So right now, my core is tight, flattening my spine down towards the table. You can see my pelvis tilts a little bit when I do that. I'm going to relax. This is my natural resting state. And then I'm going to contract. And again, I'm going to hold this contraction, squeezing my abs and my core, flattening my back to the floor, holding this for 5 to 10 seconds. And then I'm going to relax. Now, I would recommend doing this exercise, 10 repetitions, holding for 5 to 10 seconds. Another good exercise, again, for pelvic stability, SI joint stability, lumbar stability, hip stability, are glute bridges. So with glute bridges, you're just going to push your feet down into the floor, lift your buttocks up off of the floor, off the surface, and while you're doing this, squeeze the buttocks. You want to feel the contraction, the squeeze in the buttocks. You're not really trying to work out any other muscles, though you're going to be using other muscles as well. But you're really focusing on squeezing the buttocks to keep your pelvis up off of the floor, holding for 5 to 10 seconds and relaxing. Again, you can do that again. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds and relax. Again, doing that 10 times. Next exercise is going to be using these bands. Now, I would recommend recommend do it while you're lying on your back, just as we just were, putting the band around the knees, lying on the back. And what you're going to do is you're just going to simply open up the hips. Hold that again for 5 to 10 seconds and relax. Open up the hips, hold for 5 to 10 seconds, and relax. Doing that 10 times. And then the last one, using something like a foam roller. Now, it doesn't have to be a foam roller. That's just what I had handy. Really, anything that you can put between your knees that's not going to compress too much. So using a pillow may not be great unless it's a really, really big pillow. But something I think a foam roller does well in that you put it between the knees, and you can do this sitting, I suppose, but I think lying on your back is more comfortable. So do it, and you just squeeze the hips or squeeze the thighs together. And this is working on a lot of the musculature surrounding the pelvis when you're squeezing together, when you're pulling apart, working on the musculature surrounding the pelvis, surrounding the hips to create some more strength and stability in those areas. Again, hold that contraction for 5 to 10 seconds, doing that 10 repetitions. Now, to save yourself some time, you can actually do a lot of this in tandem or do it at the same time. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate what I mean by that. So while I'm lying on my back with my band, first I'm going to squeeze. I forgot one of my things. I'm going to put this in between as well. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that. So I'm first going to squeeze my abs, lower my back down to the floor, and then I'm going to, as well at the same time, open up my knees. Hold that for 5 to 10 seconds. Have my roll here handy. After that, put that in between the knees. I'm going to lift up, and I'm going to squeeze my glutes as well as squeezing my thighs together. Holding that for, again, 5 to 10 seconds. Relax. Open and squeeze my abs, flattening my back to the floor, 5 to 10 seconds, etc. So those 4 exercises, really simple, easy to do, don't need a lot of equipment, can really help to create additional added stability in the lumbar spine, in the pelvis, the SI joints, the hip area. So give these exercises a try. If you have any questions, let me know.